Hello there, you're tuning into the last edition of Culture Mosaic in 2016. We have an exciting lineup today for you as we'll learn about some options you can seek out in terms of tourism destinations for the holiday season. Then it's a chat with an artist who has creatively worked with Vietnamese doll paper in order to produce beautiful artworks. And talking about using a unique medium to create art, our Connecting Cultures later on will introduce you to a group of German artists who have elevated stationery tape into a new art form. Unique homestay, a new trend for the holiday. French photographer and new experience with doll paper. And later on, a street artist group by the name of Tape Dad from Germany and the art of taping. Now, our very last Culture Mosaic of 2016 will start with the highlights of the Vietnamese cultural scene over the past year. Let's have a look.
The Vietnamese belief in mother goddesses of the three realms was officially recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This was announced at the 11th Conference of the UNESCO Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage, taking place at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Về tín ngưỡng thờ mẫu hôm nay đã được vinh danh cả thế giới biết đến và chúng tôi xin hứa sẽ có trách nhiệm bảo tồn và phát huy giá trị tín ngưỡng thờ mẫu này.
The UNESCO recognition of the belief of the mother goddesses of the three realms will strengthen the role and position of this heritage in society, enriching Vietnam's cultural diversity and humankind in general. Practitioners of this belief after this huge milestone will be even more conscious of protecting and promoting the heritage.
Vietnam in 2016 welcomed many famous artists around the world to come and join series of music festivals, including Monsoon, Martin Garrix, Coco Fest, and Mega City, among others. Especially the Monsoon 2016 is regarded as the most expected event with the appearance of the rock legend Scorpion from Germany.
Vietnam, we are the Scorpions!
The event, running in the end of October, drew over 10,000 audiences.
Ha Long Bay was featured in the first scenes of the international trailer for Hollywood blockbuster Kong Skull Island. Director Jordan Vogt Roberts chose the world wonder, the mountains of Ninh Bình and Quang Binh in Vietnam to film the movie, as well as in Australia and Hawaii. The movie started filming in October 2015 and finished in March. The filming of the $190 million blockbuster in Vietnam is a chance to show the country's unique beauty to the world.
The 4th Hanoi International Film Festival, or HANIF, themed cinema integration and sustainable development, took place from November the 1st to the 5th in Hanoi. The 5-day festival featured 146 films from 43 countries and territories, including the United States, Britain, France, India, and Japan. Vietnamese cinema is represented in every category with 29 films. The Yellow Flower on the Green Grass film of Vietnamese director Victor Vũ wins the jury special mention for feature-length film.
new project to bring better performances at the Hanoi Opera House was recently launched. The Autumn Symphony No. 1 by the artist of the Vietnam National Symphony Orchestra was the first performance of the program on August the 30th. During the project's series, top-notch performances including traditional shows like classical opera and reformed theatre also were presented to local audiences.
Muốn mọi người đến gần với lại âm nhạc giao hưởng, chúng ta phải có cả một quá trình để chúng ta đưa âm nhạc đến với lại công chúng. Thế thì đây cũng chính là một cái bước khởi đầu.
Through these concerts and arts performances, the Hanoi Opera House wants to cement its position in the country's cultural life, appealing to both locals and visitors alike.
The Algae, or Traditional Long Dress Festival 2016, took place at the Thăng Long Hanoi Imperial Citadel in mid-October for the very first time. Themed the quintessence of Vietnamese Algae, the festival saw the participation of 32 famous fashion designers, artisans and artists nationwide.
Qua câu chuyện của áo dài, Hà Nội có thêm được những cái tinh thần mới, những cái giá trị mới.
The event contributed to introduce local people throughout the country and international friends the beauty of the traditional long dress of Vietnam.
Have you had any plans for the holiday season in terms of traveling? Are you getting bored with similar ways of celebration over the years? Well, we've got just the treat for you. How about spending your holiday in a unique homestay with your family or friends? Join us and get out of the city in the following.
Recently, homestays have become popular among travel lovers. Throughout the country, many homestays have opened, especially in Sapa, Đà Lạt, Hội An, Ho Chi Minh City, and Hanoi. The trend is booming, especially during the holiday season, while traditional ways of celebrating seems uninteresting. Located in Sóc Sơn District, this house is one of the best homestays in Hanoi. The house has attracted visitors with its rustic architecture, quality facilities, and private living space. Here, people can enjoy their vacations with all the comforts of being home. These young people have come here to shoot their wedding photos. They have also taken this chance to set up a picnic and enjoy their holiday in a new way.
Mình chụp ảnh cưới, set up theo cái phong cách mà bọn mình đã dự định như ban đầu. Đến buổi tối thì bọn mình đã có một bữa tiệc BBQ ngoài trời này. Sau đó là mọi người cùng đàn, cùng hát và đốt cả lửa trại nữa. Thật ra thì bọn mình cũng đã có rất là nhiều buổi đi chơi cùng với nhau như thế này. Nhưng mà không gian thì nó hơi khác biệt một chút. Trước đây thì bọn mình thường có thể là ra công viên, bãi cỏ hay là đi Hà Giang hay là Sơn La chẳng hạn. Nhưng mà lần này thì bọn mình khi mà trải nghiệm được ở homestay này ấy, thì mình thấy là nó có rất nhiều cái thú vị, có sự riêng tư này, tiện nghi.
So if you are seeking for some wide experiences, here should be the best place for you to escape.
A treehouse homestay, enshrouded in a dreamy lush garden, sits among many of Dao Anh Khang's artworks. The 5 separate cottages go by the name Zen Space Tree House, Happy Together Twin House, Aquarium Room, Sky Tree House, and Tropical Paradise Tree House. Each cottage has its own architecture and decor.
Cái cảm hứng mà tạo nên cái khu nhà cây này thực ra là nó xuất phát từ khoảng khoảng 20 năm trước, khi mà tôi có cái ý nghĩ là thèm được nhìn thấy cái con chim nó sống, nó làm tổ ở trên cây ấy, thì đó là một không gian sống thật là lý tưởng. Thì vừa đứng ở trên cao quan sát không gian rộng lớn, vừa được gần gũi thiên nhiên và cảm giác được tự do.
However, as Khánh shares, there is one thing that connects every house. He calls it nature's rhythm.
Phần lớn các cái công trình kiến trúc là lấy thiên nhiên hỗ trợ làm cảnh quan cho công trình kiến trúc thôi. Nhưng đối với tôi thì là muốn lấy những các cái cây cối này, nó là một yếu tố cấu thành lên cái kiến trúc không gian của nơi mình sống. Tức là cây cối nó có thể đi vào trong nhà, nó trở thành như là những cái hình ảnh về nội thất. Vào trong nhà nó vẫn cứ mọc lá xanh ra, nó vẫn cứ đâm chồi nảy lộc ở trong ấy. Mình nằm xuống mình vẫn nhìn thấy cái sự sống không phải ở bên ngoài cửa sổ mà ngay trong căn phòng của mình. Cái sự sống nó vẫn thay đổi, nó vẫn đang phát triển.
One of the most interesting things when you come to the tree house is that you have to climb up the tree to get in the house. It's exhausted, but believe me, it could make you feel like you are in the forest.
With its unique architecture and decor, the tree house always surprises visitors in every single feature.
The way that the little tree houses, they're all decorated differently and they all look different on the inside. And the fact that it's the only treehouse property as well in Hanoi, that was really cool. When we were looking at places that we wanted to stay in Vietnam, we were specifically looking for tree houses.
I find it a very inspiring space myself. I mean, you look around, there's just art in every direction. Even the shapes of the houses are very unique, and it's like no other place I've ever stayed, that's for sure. I mean, it's just walking around and knowing the level of artistry that goes into this and the level of work that Zhao and Khan has put into this premises is really, really impressive.
This kind of homestay is lived because it is more than just a place to sleep. It is perfect for travelers who want a unique experience.
You're tuning into Culture Mosaic, our weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of the nation. We hope to become a bridge that connects artists and their works to our viewers out there. So do join us in this journey through various culture scenes here in Vietnam. We have a lot more coming up in this week's installment of Culture Mosaic. Gió paper has played an important role in Vietnamese folk art. However, nowadays, many artists have modernized the paper through their contemporary artworks as a way of protecting this folk art from disappearing. Among them, we have Daniel Friedman, a French photographer. He is seen as the very first foreign photographer who has found a way to print his photos on gió paper. Our reporter sat down with Daniel to learn more about his experience with gió paper, which has given photography a new spin.
A laundry shop, a street vendor, an old building. These familiar images of Hanoi have a vibrant yet subtle quality to them. These photos printed on gió paper have shown a new side to Hanoi streets. They were taken with photographer Daniel Friedman's camera.
I am from Paris. First, I came in Vietnam for my job in Chu Van An with pupils of my school in Chu Van An. But not important. Important is when I arrived in Hanoi, I said immediately I will live in Hanoi and finish my life in Hanoi.
walking around and capturing every moment of Hanoi. He allows these moments to shine on gió paper. This is how Daniel has shown his love for Hanoi.
First of all, thank you so much for joining our program. Via your works, gió paper has totally changed people's thoughts about photography. So why did you choose gió paper to print your photos on? Was it just to make your photos different from others?
Come in Vietnam, I take pictures from 10 years in Vietnam. Suddenly, I'm thinking, why take pictures of Vietnam and not use Vietnamese paper? Gió is typically Vietnamese paper, traditional paper, and strong paper and long-lasting paper. So I tried, and I show you the difference. You see? The difference between the same picture on gió and same picture on paper. On paper it's very beautiful, very strong. But on gió, you see, she is moving. She is more moving.
You have spent nearly 2 years visiting craft villages in Vietnam to learn more about gió paper and also to find the most suitable kind to print your photos on. So can you share about that journey?
I tried many kinds. First, I have to find the maker, the manufacturer of gió. Not much. And I find one, they don't like the lick, so cannot go back, no interest. And I find one, and they give me different kinds of gió. And I tried them. But I wanted the most authentic paper. The white one is not really gió. So I changed in the village near Bac Ninh. I chose the fabric where people can share and can take time, you know, because it is long to choose the paper, to show the different kinds of paper, to try to come back. Sometimes I buy only 10 sheets, sometimes I buy 100 different.
You were accompanied by a very special assistant in your gió paper journey, that is your wife. She is not a photographer, so what is her role in the gió paper project?
She helps me to talk with people and to understand deeply the people. Because when you are foreigner, even you know people long time, they continue to think you are foreigner and they won't talk. They are really talking. What they are thinking you want to hear. But between Vietnamese, I can feel really the depths of the thinking. When you are alone, you know the people only on the surface, not deeply. Now I know Vietnamese more deeply.
Daniel's journey with gió paper has lasted over 2 years. On his journey of learning more about this folk art, he was accompanied by his wife. As a yoga teacher, Mayang never thought she'd be involved in any art projects, but due to Daniel's love of the Vietnamese art, this has changed.
Mình là người Việt Nam cho nên mình biết về giấy gió, nhưng mình biết rất là sơ sài. Mình chỉ biết rằng Việt Nam chúng ta có giấy gió, có tranh đồng hồ. Mình rất là xúc động khi một người nước ngoài mà người ta lại yêu Việt Nam đến thế. Vì vậy bắt đầu những thời điểm là giúp Daniel tìm hiểu, nhưng càng đi vào thì mình càng thấy rằng ôi có rất là thú vị. Và bắt đầu đi lật lại từ những cái làng cổ đến rất là mày mò những làng cổ. Xong hiểu rằng ngày xưa là giấy gió bắt đầu từ đâu, mình thấy thú vị vô cùng.
In addition to a suitable kind of gió paper, what else do you need to create such interesting photos?
My printer didn't like so I threw away many gió. And still now, sometimes my printer doesn't like. I have to take care. It is very difficult. I have to change completely the technique to print. I use printer with a special ink. Ink can long lasting. My printing can last 100 years. And gió can last long time too. And now I use a gió paper of with 4 layers. And the picture needs about 3 or 4 days to become dry, because the ink comes inside the paper.
After over 2 years of experience, Daniel has printed about 200 photos on Zao paper, about 60 of which have been exhibited in France.
You also showcased some of your artworks in your home country, France, and were welcomed by many local audiences. So can you share more about what viewers there said about your works and Vietnam via your photos?
People very surprised by this paper, and they like very much. When I show to Viet Kieu, Viet Kieu like very much that, because that is a picture, it is Vietnam for Viet Kieu. All the Vietnam is remind the ideal Vietnam. It is a Vietnam, you know, that kind of pictures. And French people like very much that kind of picture, you know, because you have a composition of colors. You see the colors, the variations of colors, and this paper makes this variation very subtle, very discreet. On paper, the picture is fine, but stronger and quite aggressive. Here, it is soft.
Do you plan to work with other Vietnamese materials besides all paper?
I will continue to try to do things different with Zaizao. I have gone in all Vietnam alone on motorbike. I will go again to feel the country changing. Now I'll begin a new kind of pictures, pictures only on colors. I call that the moving street art in Hanoi or other place, but mostly in Hanoi.
Once again, thank you so much for joining our program.
Now, have you ever thought of stationery tape as a material for art? It might seem incredible, but a street artist group, Tape That from Germany, has created lively, multi-dimensional art pieces using only tape. Their tape artwork can be found in a variety of places, such as underground nightclubs or abandoned buildings, or even showrooms and railway stations. In this week's edition of Connecting Cultures, we'll have a chance to take a closer look at this unique art form.
Berlin Hauptbahnhof, nearly 30 meters of total 46 meters of bone structure height and 321 meters of central nave length in the lobby entrance are covered by tapes. It took 5 days to stick nearly 1,000 meters of tapes on glasses and floor.
If you go 28 meters high and you're trying to work, like shaking all the time, 2 of us have to do one line. If you see one line, you imagine the line is like this, maybe like this, but you know, really the line was like this, 30 centimeters.
Berlin Station is among many projects in which Tape That Art Collective has turned ordinary tapes into live artworks since 2011. With roots in the urban art movement, their works are created from complex and colorful tape and light installations to minimalist black and white tape.
Tape as a medium restricts you on the one hand, but it gives you a lot of possibilities and opportunities on the other, because you can make, for example, a very, very long, very straight line, and that's hard with any other medium, like a spray can or a brush, for example.
You really work geographic things with maybe with patterns and so very abstract. But you also can use the tape and make curves If the tape is thin enough, you can really make tight circles.
From abandoned walls and buildings, office corners, showrooms to public area, the artworks have been actively incorporated with the surroundings that help people interact with the spaces.
You start at the wall, go through the floor, go to the air. You can also make a line going through the air to the next point. Then you also can make a very good perspective image. You really can do 3D effects very easily, like going deep in the room, yeah? Like using thin tape for the background and big tape for in the front.
Throughout 11 countries such as Egypt, Qatar or Cambodia, tape art have implemented ongoing projects and workshops to bring tape art closer to different cultures.
When we travel and we do artworks, I usually incorporate some of the stuff I see. I look at all the stuff, all the new impressions that I get, the different landscapes, how the cities look, how they feel, and try to incorporate that into my artworks.
In their first tour to Vietnam, Tape Art brought a new way to express creativity to Vietnamese youth.
Băng dính thì nó rất là linh hoạt, mình có thể cắt dán. Có thể là ban đầu mình không nghĩ thế như thế đâu, nhưng mà khi mà mình dán vào mình lại hình dung ra một cái khác, dán vào mình lại hình dung ra một cái khác. Nó làm kích thích cái sự sáng tạo của mình hơn. Đó. Tiếp nữa là mình cảm thấy là cái băng dính này nó phát huy rất là tốt trong những cái không gian rộng. Mình có thể sải dài bao nhiêu mình thích, sáng tạo bao nhiêu tùy ý.
We just took things like reminds us to Vietnam, rice field, because we like the shapes of it, and it's very special. And I think it's also about Vietnam to make these green and nice flowing lines, curved lines, but some kind mixed with straight lines. It's such a graffiti style, and the Buddha is in the middle, and the rice field is going into the shape of the Buddha, and so that's the way we mix those styles and have the connection to Vietnam.
Any material, even as simple as rolls of tape, can be made into contemporary art and bond the community. That is the message that Tape That conveys into their works.
Everyday object you can turn into art. Everybody has some tape roll laying around in their home, and I think it's very interesting to reuse this. You can create your own artwork.
And that also wraps up our edition of Culture and Lifestyle this week, the very last one of 2016. Thank you so much for supporting us and our program in the past year. As always, do email us at vtvinternational@vtv.vn with any inquiries or suggestions that you may have. With hours to go until 2017 from the team here at Vietnam Television, we do hope you and your loved ones will have a happy, prosperous year ahead filled with good health and love. Until our next edition in 2017. Goodbye for now.